Master Priem has a small, skinny figure but is very active and never sits still. His face was pockmarked, and his nose was upturned. His skin was as pale as a dead person and number 39's, and his hair was gray but jagged. The eyes are small, glancing left and right continuously. Nothing can escape your eyes. You criticize everything. You know better than anyone else, and in everything you say, you always make sense. When walking on the street, he always swung his arms around like rowing a boat. One time, he swung his hand at a girl who was carrying water. The bucket of water flew high, and the water poured all over him. While shaking his body to let the water flow down, he scolded the girl, "You stupid as sheep. Didn't and #39. You see me coming from behind? My job is a shoemaker." Every time he sat down to sew, his hand pulled out the needle and swung it around. Anyone who didn't and #39 pay attention would get a punch in the ribs. Not a single worker stayed with him for more than a month, because no matter how good he was, he still criticized him as usual. Sometimes he criticizes the uneven stitching. Sometimes he criticizes the heel of one shoe for being longer than the other. Sometimes he criticizes the two heels for not being equal in height. Sometimes he criticizes the leather for not being stamped properly. He told the apprentice, "Stop, I and number 39. Show you how to stamp the leather to make it soft." His mouth spoke, but his hand had already pulled out the leather strap and slapped several whips on the boy and number 39's back. All the helpers and apprentices, I call them lazy. But he himself did not do much for himself, because he could never sit and sew for more than 15 minutes. Every morning, whenever my aunt got up to light the pot on the stove, she would jump out of bed, then run barefoot to the kitchen and scream, "Are you planning on burning the house down? Maybe the fire flared up like it was going to destroy the whole cow? Firewood doesn't and #39 have to cost you any money." Seeing the girls sitting around doing laundry and chatting, he scolded them immediately. "There are a few geese standing here squawking, chatting and forgetting all about work. Playing with soap is such a waste of money, plus you and number 39 as lazy as a leper. Don and number 39 dare rub your hands a little too hard. Maybe you and number 39 afraid of damaging the skin on your hands, right?" He jumped to the washing machine, but immediately tripped and knocked over the bucket of soapy water, spilling water all over the kitchen. Seeing people building a new house, he jumped to stand by the window, looked in and shouted, "These workers built the wall with red sand again. Will that sand ever drain? Living in the house makes you sick all the time. Everyone, just take a look. Can the helpers put stone to build it like that? Mortar does not produce mortar. You have to mix gravel into the mortar, then mix sand." I was still alive to see the house collapse, crushing everyone in the house to death. After sitting for only a few stitches, he stood up immediately, took off his leather bib, and said, "We have to go out for a bit to remind everyone and number 39's conscience." Running back to where the carpenters were working, he said, "Why is it so strange? You guys didn't and #39 follow the lines. Do you think these beams are straight? Then there is no tight dream." He snatched the axe from a carpenter and number 39's hand, intending to carve a model for them to see. But just then, a horse cart filled with clay arrived. He immediately threw The axe away, jumped up to the farmer accompanying the cart and said, "Don and number 39. You know how to love animals? Who would ever saddle a young horse to a cart carrying such a heavy load? Then those poor animals will collapse on the spot for you to see." The farmer did not pay any attention and made Uncle Priem even more irritable, and immediately he ran back to the workshop. He had just sat down and was about to continue his unfinished work when an apprentice showed him a pair of shoes. Uncle scolded the boy. "What is this again? I told you not to cut it too wide like this. What kind of shoe is so open that only the sole can be seen? Who the hell would buy these shoes? You must do exactly as I told you." The apprentice replied, Master, what you say is right. It and number 39. True that the shoes are not real shoes. But it is the shoe that I cut and sewed myself. When I rushed out, the teacher threw it under the table, I just picked it up. Perhaps even the immortals who came to Earth could not satisfy the Master and number 39's wishes. One night, Elder Priem dreamed that he had died and his soul was on its way to heaven. When he got there, he knocked hard on heaven and number 39's gate. He said, "I find it really strange, the gate doesn't and #39 even have a round ring to knock on it. I have to knock it by hand to the point of becoming disabled." Apostle Petrus went out to see who was calling the gate and banging so violently. Petrus said, "Well, who do you think? It turns out it and number 39's Uncle Priem. I and number 39 am willing to let you in, but I would like to tell you a few things. Give up your old habits. If you see everything in the sky, Don and number 39 criticize it. Don and number 39 blame yourself again." Elder Priem replied, "Even if the apostle didn't and #39 tell me, I would know how to act. Besides, here, thank God, everything is perfect. There is nothing to criticize like on earth." He passed through the gate, climbed up and down, through the wide spaces of heaven. He looked around, looking left and right, occasionally nodding his head to express his satisfaction. At that moment, there were two angels carrying a beam. The two people carried it while looking into each other and number 39's eyes. The beam was long, but the two angels did not carry it along the length of the beam, but kept walking sideways. Uncle Priem thought, who in their life was that stupid? But he kept silent, seeing that it had its own reason. In the end, it was the same, it didn't and #39 matter if you carried the beam vertically or horizontally, as long as you could carry it. But that and number 39's really cool. I Don and number 39 see them touching anything? A moment later, he saw two other angels sitting on the edge of the well taking water and pouring it into a bucket. Looking closely, he saw that the barrel had leaks in many places. Water was leaking out in all directions. The gods were making rain pour down on the earth. Uncle blurted out, "Totally useless." But luckily he was able to control himself and think, maybe it and number 39's just for fun. If you call it entertainment, it and number 39's all useless things. Besides, in this fairy world as I and number 39 they seen everyone is free. After walking some distance, he saw a carriage stuck in a deep hole. Uncle told the coachman, "There in number 39's nothing surprising. No one has ever carried such a heavy load. What are you guys carrying?" The other person replied, "All the pious vows, after praying for so long, I still haven and number 39. Been able to get to the main road, but fortunately I was able to push the carriage here. Since I and number 39 am here, no one would want to leave me stranded here." Indeed, an angel led 2 horses to the chariot. Uncle Priem thought to himself, "Very well, but with only 2 children, how can we pull the car out of the hole?" It took at least 4 to pull it. Another angel brought 2 horses, but did not tie them to the front of the cart but to the back of the cart. Uncle Priem could N and hash 39 bear it any more and blurted out, "Useless. What are you doing there? Since the beginning of time, has anyone done that? Ha!" Yet those stupid arrogant people still think they are better than everyone else. He was about to say more, but a heavenly being grabbed him by the back of his neck and threw him hard out of the heavenly gate. Once outside, he looked back and saw 4 winged horses lifting the cart out of the hole. Of course, heaven is more or less different from earth. There are things there that people can ignore, but who can patiently stand and watch them strap horses to both the front and back of the cart. It and number 39. True that horses do have wings, but who can be sure of that? And even more stupid. A horse is born with 4 hooves to run, so why add 2 wings? But I have to get up now, otherwise they and number 39 do weird things out there. Luckily I and number 39 am not really dead. Thank you for joining us for today's fairy tale. We hope these stories bring joy and meaning to your day. If you love our channel, please hit the subscribe button so you won't miss any exciting tales. Wishing you a good night and sweet dreams. See you in the next story.